Hello, we are working on paper 5 on the June series. This is Edexcel, a calculator paper. So I'm going to make sure I've got my calculator with me. Just find that from the top drawer. And we are going to be aiming really for as many marks sort of in our exams when we get there as we can. We've got only the 38 marks needed for that grade 4. That's 16%. 38, if we just work that out over the course of 3 papers, is about 13 marks per paper. So that's really good value. 71 divided by 3, you're looking for about 24 marks. So good value. Make sure you're revising. Make sure you're watching these videos. Subscribe, like, comment, as one of my colleagues says. So let's get to it. Okay, when we've got these simplifications for question 1, x to the a with inside a bracket with a b, it means we're going to do x to the a times by b. So for this one, 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, expand and simplify. So expanding first for the first mark. 4 times x, 4x, 4 times 3, 12, plus 7 times 4, 28, 7 times by minus 2, minus 14, and that has an x at the end. Right, now that we simplify them, the 12 and the 28 add together to make 40. And then 4x take away 14x minus 10x. So that will be our solution. Part C, factorize fully. So we're looking for the highest common factor. Now we can both these terms can be divided by 3, so we take 3 outside. We can also divide both of them by x squared, because you can see we've got x cubed and we've got x squared, and we're looking at trying to, we take like the lowest power, which is what we can divide both of those two by. Right, inside the brackets now, 15 divided by 3 is 5. X cubed divided by x squared leaves us with just x, and that term is dealt with. Then we have an add sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1. X squared divided by x squared is x squared. And y hasn't got anything to divide it by, so we just have a y there. So 3x squared, 5x plus y. Question number 2. Describe fully the single transformation that maps shape S onto shape T. So S is going on to T. Really important that you get that the correct way round. The shape hasn't changed its size. It hasn't changed its orientation. So it's slid across the graph, and we are looking at a translation. Often this topic isn't given enough time in lessons because it's quite a hefty resource. It takes a lot of preparation. It's just one of those topics that's quite tough, and you'll probably get about 2 or 3 weeks within a term, and then you're done. So you've got to make sure you revise this one. So it's only 2 marks. Our first mark is for saying it's a translation, and then our second mark is by what sort of vector. So we put it in a vector like that. So the vectors, that one, the top number will describe the movement in the x, and the bottom one, the movement in the y. So I'm going to take it from that top left to this top left and decide how that movement is done. So we're going left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, which means that we've got -5 for our x value, and then we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a 6 at the bottom for that y movement. And it's really important that we remember if we're going up, it's positive. And we also have to remember that we're going to the same point on each of the shapes. If you go from this point here and go to the bottom left of that shape, you're going to get the incorrect vector. Okay, so make sure that you take your time with that. Question 3, this topic was bound to come up. Yeah, that's right. It's a question on bounds. Don't regret that joke. The length of a football pitch is 90 meters correct to the nearest meter. Complete the error interval for the length of the football pitch. Now, a trick here is because it's to the nearest meter in this question, the boundary is going to be the size of 1 meter. So we simply divide that meter by 2, which gives us 0.5 meters, and then we add it and subtract it to our amount. So the easier one, adding the 0.5 on, we get 90.5. Our inequality symbols are dealt with for us. Okay, so we don't have to worry about putting them in. And then subtracting the 0.5 gives us the 89.5. Again, use your calculator at all times. Don't rely on arithmetic. In the pressure of an exam, you might make a mistake. That's question 3, done. Question 4. So a festival is in a rectangular field with an area of 80,000 meters, square meters. The greatest number of people allowed to attend Festival A is 425. Festival B will be in a rectangular field, and I'm going to just draw this one out. Festival B, 700 metres by 2,000 metres. The greatest number of people allowed to attend Festival B is 6,750. The area per person allowed for Festival B is greater than the area per person allowed for Festival A. How much greater? Give your answer to the nearest whole number. So for Festival A, and it says area per person, so 80,000 is divided by 425. 80, 1, 2, 3 divided by 425. That gives us 100. What's the nearest whole number? So that is 188 point. I shouldn't write out there. Let me just put it here. 188.23529. So that's 188. And that is squared meters per person. Right. In order to do B, we need to do the same calculation. However, we've got to do the 700 times by the 2,000 to begin with. 700 times by 2,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 zeros. So 1, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm going to just rewrite that there because my examiner needs to see everything I've done in a nice, clear and orderly fashion. Now that's going to be divided by the 6750. 6750. And that gives us 207.407. So that's 207. And then we do 207, subtract the 188. 207, take away 188. So it is greater by 19 people per square meter. Oh, how do you spell meter? ER or RE? Okay, ER. That'd be fine. That'll be fine. No one will notice. Maths exam, we get penalised for that. Right, Callum says 300 centimetres squared is the same as 3 metres squared because there are 100 centimetres in a metre and you divide by 10. Explain why Callum's method is wrong. Well, I'm afraid you must divide by 100 squared for area conversions. And therefore, 3 divided by 100 squared. 3 divided by 100 squared equals, oh my God, 0.0004 centimetres squared. It's the wrong way around. It's the wrong way around. So you divide by 100, what is he saying? So 300 centimetres squared divided by the 100 squared. That's what he's saying. 300 divided by 100 squared, 0.03. Fantastic. And there we go. Hi, question 5. So I'm going to do this one probably in an unconventional way. I don't know. So we've got L. I'm going to put M there. And then we've got N. So this is 2 to 3. And then our coordinate of L, -3 to 1. Coordinate of M, 4 to 9. And we want to know what N is. So for our X coordinate, it's gone up by 7. And for our Y coordinate, we've gone up by 8. Happy with that? Right. Now, because this is a ratio of 2 to 3, my plus 7, I'm going to divide it by 2, times it by 3. And I'm going to do the same thing for the Y coordinate. So for Y, can I do it? Do I do it like that? If I just times it by 5, I might get all the way there. Oh well, let's do it. Let's get it done. So can have a little look at that off camera. So divide by 2 times by 3, that gives us 10.5. And then the 10.5 is going to give us 14.5 for the x-axis, for the x coordinate, sorry. And then for 8, divided by 2, times it by 3, that gives us 12. Add the 12 to the 9, we get 21. So that's our coordinate. Just out of interest, this 7, if I do 7 divided by 2 and then times it by 5, no, it doesn't give me the correct answer. So 14.5 and 21. And we've done that the correct way. Question 6. So a new phone costs £679. The value of the phone decreases at a rate of 4% per year. Work out the value of the phone at the end of 3 years. So £679 times by, and we've got to do 1 minus 0.04 to the power of 3. So this 679 will be multiplied by 0.96 cubed. So 679 times by 0.96 cubed, use that calculator, 600,735,744, which will be 674 pence. How do I know to do it to 2 decimal places? Well, it's money, and whenever you've got a money question, you must do 2 decimal places. Question 7. As an examiner, I hate marking these because there are so many different ways that you can go about this. I'm going to start off, I'll just read the question and we'll talk about what we're going to do. So in Spain, Sam pays €27 for 18 litres of petrol. In Wales, Leo pays £40.80 for 8 gallons of the same type of petrol. So we've got different currencies, we've got different measurements of the volume, and we've got different amounts. But we've got all of our conversions here, and the first thing I'm looking at is let's compare the amounts first. So 18 litres, if I divide that by 4.5, as if to say, well, how many 4.5s go into 18? We use that calculator, always use it. That gives us 4. So that's 4 gallons. And 4 gallons is worth €27. Therefore, 8 gallons, we've done that by doubling it, gives us €54. So now we've got something that's comparable. We've got the euros, and we've got, this is in Spain, and in Wales. My handwriting's awful, I'm so sorry. I'm going to rewrite that. Maybe need to get a new pen nib. In Wales, 8 gallons is £40.80. So we're now going to convert this into pounds and pence. €1 is equal to 0.85 pounds. So that's quite an easy calculation. We put that through the calculator and multiply it by 0.85. And that gives us £45. Why has that stopped writing? There we go, £45.90. Is Sam correct? Well, Sam said he thinks that petrol is cheaper in Spain than in Wales. So Sam is incorrect. And we can go and write further sentences, but as long as I've got 2 comparable figures, we're okay with that and we don't have to do anything further to the question. Okay, question 8. It's not the nicest one. The first thing we're going to do here, because we're chucking it all into our calculator, you want to hit this button in order to get your fraction up. And then to get this cube root, you need to do shift and the square root button. Okay, so shift, don't have to push them at the same time. Push shift, push that square root button, that will give you the cube root. Then type in your 1.1.57, and you're going to need the little button that's got that on it as well, because you're going to need to raise that to the power of 4. Then you need to hit the right key to get away from that power of 4, and then you're going to add tan 60. And I've just noticed I've not done the add bit on my one. If you want to as well for the tan 60, just close that bracket. You then need to go to the down key, type in 7.2. You're again going to hit this one. It's the power of a half, so why not just turn that into 0.5? That's going to make that easier for you. Hit equals, and then write out your whole solution. Because even if you get that wrong, there's a mark here for you for rounding to 3 significant figures. That's not significant. That is, which means we need 3 decimal places, and our solution is 0.739.